Good evening. It is 7:04 and I'd like to start the Human Services Commission meeting on this first night of December. Any public comment tonight, Jill?
No, none for me.
Any additions to our agenda? Anybody?
None for me. No.
Let's go back and look at last meeting's minutes, November 10th.
Special meetings.
Special meeting. Correct. On anything that we need to, well, I'll make a motion to accept the special meeting minutes.
I can second.
Thank you. And anything that we need to discuss? Any corrections?
For the minutes?
Yes.
There's one for the annual townwide picnic, over 200, should be over 100.
Okay.
What page is that on?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's under the Woodbridge Center programming. It's the
Okay,
2,
first
3,
page?
4, Yes, 5.
Oh, I see it.
Okay, so we have.
So as amended, is your motion to approve as amended?
As amended.
Okay, and is your second of that motion?
Barney?
As amended.
As amended.
Very good.
All in favor? So moved. And let's go on to Woodbridge Center.
So, in November, we had another busy month. Looking ahead to December, we're going to be having the Woodbridge Garden Club is going to come and provide a holiday centerpiece workshop. It's already full at 25 who have signed up, and we have a waiting list for that. They came last year and they did it, and it was a lot of fun. The whole entire wall was full of fresh cut greenery. They put a lot of work into it to gather everything, and everybody left with this huge, beautiful centerpiece. So that'll be fun. For educational programs, going into 2026, we will have at least 2 of the AARP classes that will be offered at no cost to attendees. They're going to, after those 2 classes, they're going to look into the funding through the grant for the rest of the year, and then they'll decide if we will have additional classes that will be covered. The Senior Learning Network, that we've been providing virtual classes, in-person virtual live classes, they're going to stop doing that as of the end of 2025, which the programs are really nice, but they haven't been well attended, so it's a good balance of this. It's time to stop. And then for luncheons in November, we had our annual Thanksgiving Day luncheon, which was sponsored by the Woodbridge Police Union, Woodford Square, Autumn Lake, and Hearts at Home. And we had over 85 people that came. It was a lot of fun, as it always is. Everybody just helps out. We had 3 volunteers come the day before to set everything up, set the tables, and help cut all the pies up for pumpkin pie, and it's a lot of pie to cut up. And we had some challenges because the refrigerator still wasn't working, so we had to fit all those pies somewhere. And Rose was on vacation, and I am always appreciative of Rose, but when she's not here, I really appreciate her. And she works very hard. And then another little hiccup we had was we were struggling having water refills for our water cooler, which for the Thanksgiving luncheon, we realized, how much it's used and needed. Jeanette was trying very hard to work with the people who usually supply the bottles, and we just weren't having any luck with that. So having good connections, community connections, Sarah Malaspina from Coachman, who's the executive director there, got on the phone and had somebody bring over a 5-gallon water bottle here.
After we already had taken one from recreation, so.
That had been empty, so, yeah,
Right,
we'll
and-
use that one of them.
The problem, it turned out, there's a lot of problems. They are an unreliable company at best, and, but the lowest bidder. So, it turns out that the delivery guy knew way more than the service technicians did, who kept claiming that the order had been delivered to 4 Meeting House Lane, 11 Meeting House Lane, and then 4 Meeting House Lane, and that it was scheduled for delivery at 9:45 a.m. that day, and it was 11 when I was talking to them. So, you know, they're in another country, they've outsourced their service. The delivery man has since explained to me that when he was trained, he was not told that we had a senior center. That's a big problem. So we've sorted it. He is expected to be on vacation this week, so it may cause all the problems again, but he claims it's the last vacation he's having maybe ever. So we should, once we get back to Bob, we should be sorted again. But more to come, because I've gone through their bill and discovered that they can deliver any brand of water they choose, it seems, and when they deliver the more expensive water, it can cost us double per bottle, which doesn't seem. So that's a conversation for tomorrow. I went through the bill today to see how it reflected.
So what do they wait till they have that bottle to
bring it here?
Well, yeah, so the Poland Spring water is half the price apparently of this other brand, their own brand, and we were charged double for 6 bottles, and so, yeah, we're not paying it until we sort it, and we'll work. So yeah, sorry to interrupt, but
No, that's okay.
it had, you know, no water in the senior center, it doesn't seem like the right approach.
So Kathy was helping as well, I said, it was a big help. And we got the food out in record time of 12 minutes, we got out.
Turkey dinners.
85 meals that were very heavy and solid and lots of food on them, so that was good.
But that was Lassie's too.
Yeah,
They were
lots
very
of
efficient.
2 servers. Great, actually. Yeah, it was, we had a system and they were going out first week. In December, this month, we'll have the annual holiday luncheon, which will be sponsored fully by the Rotary, as they've done in the past. And Lassie's will again cater that. We'll have live music for that as well. For Lunch and Learns, we had our Healthy Bees Lunch and Learn in November. That was provided by Healing Arts and Physical Therapy. We had 54 people come to that, and everybody thought it was a very interesting lunch and learn. In December, we will have a lunch and learn about brain fitness. That will be provided by LiveWell, and the lunch will be provided by Amston Home Transition Solutions. We have 46 people registered for that already. And I think it's next Thursday is when that will be. In November, we also had a painting, pizza, and pie program that was a collaboration with Beecher Road School Elementary Student Council. We had 46 people come to that, and that was a lot of fun. They painted a picture of a pie, and then they had pizza pie, and then they had pumpkin pie. There's a little thing there. And it was really fun, and everybody's painting was really just amazing. The place was great, and it was a lot of fun. And Lynn Piazza helped there serve the pumpkin pie. In November, if you look at my report, the attendance numbers were a little bit lower in November, but we were closed for 6 days for programs between the election, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, and everything like that. And then I just wanted to mention, as far as I mentioned Rosa last month, Rosa is continuing to do really well. She's really getting the systems of everything, and she's very efficient. So, and I was able to take a couple of days off and get way behind. I'm very appreciative of her being here.
Didn't have to close the place down.
And then for the coffee bar, we had an anonymous donor in November and December. The coffee bar will be sponsored by Lynn Piazzik in honor of her colleagues on the Woodbridge Board of Ed. So that was nice that she's doing that. As far as parking is a problem. I've mentioned it in the past, and everyone knows here that it's a problem. For the Thanksgiving luncheon, it was a problem. People are having to park way over by the church, and it's more difficult as the weather gets colder. So we're just looking into different ideas and maybe having a regular shuttle service set up for the bigger programs. When we have another driver hired, hopefully we can look into that a little more.
Are there enough handicap spaces?
Never.
No.
No. And we talked about doing this whole line in handicapped spots, and we could still work on getting that. A lot of places, like if you go to Wallingford, the first 2 full rows in a very large parking lot are all accessible parking. So, you know.
It's just difficult overall because the library has their programs, and it's not a big parking
Well, I
lot
was
and
just thinking
everything.
handicapped, at least hour-wise, more
Right,
likely to
right.
make use of that.
Right.
And, you
No,
know,
Chrissy, there was also several people that came here and left because of no parking. I was one of them. Because it was where they were going behind the church, I
Yeah.
believe,
Yeah.
which is a distance.
Yeah,
it really is,
it
and if it was set up, was what Chrissy's talking about.
I think that would be a great idea.
So even if we, they parked over there, we just had a
Yeah.
local shuttle or down by the transfer station or something that they just went back and forth.
Now, could you
No,
use
not
our
transfer
buses for
station.
that?
Oh, not the transfer station, let me clarify. On
Yeah.
camera. That would be a very long distance.
We're not running a shuttle to the
Now,
transfer
would we
station.
be able to use our vehicles for that?
Parking out there.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe we will.
Well, maybe people
When
could
did you
share
start, Jenna?
The 2 buses that we have, why couldn't we just use those?
We can, we just don't have a driver. We're short drivers right now, so after we hire another driver, hopefully it'll provide more flexibility so that, if we have medicals on that day, we could maybe have a driver come in
Because
for a
I
couple
wouldn't think
hours.
that there'd be that many people that would need to ride back and forth there.
I think
Enough.
depending on
Depends
the
on what else
weather
is
and.
sparked. It depends on what else is going on.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
If there's another activity going on, then definitely.
One day they were working on the parking lot over, the small parking lot.
Yeah.
And so that was closed because they were working on it for the community cultural center or that part. So that took away parking too, or the students at the high school park along the street or in the upper parking lot.
Can there
So-
be something done about that? Like if we're having something here and we know that we're gonna have an overabundance of people, can they put a sign out there in the morning, absolutely no parking?
Definitely no parking. No, actually, we have the police working on it. So if
You're talking about with the students though, right?
yes, students.
Yeah, because the students,
Right, so the students all figure out at a certain point of the year that it's just as far to walk from these spots as it is from the back of the football field.
yeah.
And so, and these are free. And there's no particular signage. So we've been working with the PD. They had asked us to come up with some plate numbers to hand over to them so that they could have their Officer Sapione work with the kids. I put a few notes on cars that said, please don't park here again, this is for, and I just did that for the upper parking lot, not for the street parking. And that worked with those particular kids. The street parking, my feeling is, to be honest, I wrote back to the chief to say, put a car out there at 7:25, and it's not gonna be anybody coming to the library or our offices. We don't open until 8:30 and 10 o'clock respectively. So if you put a car out there, you're gonna be dissuading those kids from parking. He still wants us to collect the plate numbers. We'll go back and forth a couple more times and we'll get this sorted, because it's really not our job to collect license plate numbers.
Wait, is it illegal for the kids to park there?
It
They
is,
tell the kids not to park, the middle school tells the kids not to park.
not the
But
parking.
it's public
But it's not
parking,
illegal.
right?
No, I know, but I just, they
Yeah,
are
I-
told
We
not to
do
park
want
there.
signs, we do want new signs. Signage should say parking for the center building and town hall only. In that way, it's very clear it's not for the high school. Or it could say the library, town hall, and the center building, we're not excluding anybody who's coming to a public building. But then you get the people who wanna take a hike, you know, and so they're not coming, for our services here. So we have to figure out the wording to not be exclusionary to just a resident who wants to take a hike. You know.
With an event that's 50, 60, 80, almost 100 people, I think that, Christy and Jeanette are, by looking at a shuttle, whether it's from Assumption or from the church, across, you would know, Jan, that if you were coming to one of the big events, that it would be more comfortable for you to just go right to where the shuttle is.
Right.
And only have to walk a few steps to get to the bus, on a cold day or whatever it is.
Mhm.
So I think once we have enough drivers, we'll train people that no hassle, parking, and we'll get you right to the front door.
Right.
So I think that's what we'll do when we have the staffing.
Right, especially once the community and cultural center may start having people park around for that building as well, it's just gonna add pressure on the lots we already have.
Time for a parking garage.
Yeah, I don't think we're zoned for that.
Multiple level parking.
Yeah, right, so we can ask them to
It has to be, okay.
add it to the bid. The last thing I have is, the refrigerator that I spoke of that was broken is now fixed, as I speak. The repairman did voice concerns about a potential condenser issue in the future. It's good right now, so.
Well, and we're just gonna have to, add a new refrigerator to our 5-year capital budget. Because if it's not in there and we have one break, we have to plan for it. And it is over $5,000 to buy a new fridge. It's just what they cost. So, and this one is not that old, but
That, I don't think, from what the repairman said, they don't last that long, unfortunately.
Right. So we'd be remiss if we didn't add it to our capital budget. And we will.
That's all I have, so are there any questions?
Nice job, Kristen.
I'll make a motion to accept the Woodbridge Center report.
So moved.
Pat?
I'll second it.
I think
All right, wait a minute.
Pat got it
Pat
first.
moved it and
Yeah,
Janet
Janet,
seconded it. Okay. Pat, Janet. Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Erin. And Jeanette, you're gonna share on the.
I'm gonna share the youth services report, and Nancy's worked on Shop with a Cop, which this year she went from 3 kids to 5 kids that she could nominate, which is great, and the PD also has a few kids, and she's hoping that the kids that are nominated by the PD and that she's nominating, and both organizations have worked with Beecher to get these kids' names, that all of the kids, and it potentially could be, I think, 8 kids, will go out with the PD for dinner and then shopping, and I'm not sure where they're going shopping, but I think they're going to Dave and Buster's for a meal.
That's a lot more than last year.
It is, it's up, she had 2 last year and the PD had 3, so it was up from 5 to 8, seems like,
That's great.
and it's the Reach Foundation, so, very nice. She just hasn't gotten the kids approved yet, so. Toys for Kids, there were collection boxes at various locations. I got a call from the library today that the box was overflowing, and
Yeah.
could I have it picked up. I was like,
That's great.
it's a good problem to have, and we'll empty it out, but no, we can't pick up the box. She goes, well, last year the gifts were there until after Christmas, which is not exactly true. Gifts got dropped in the collection box late and were there, but the collection happens, team does the collection, and that'll happen around between the 10th and the 12th. So I assured her we'd empty it, and then more toys can still come in. We're not removing it. The fire department's got about 40 of our clients' children, it's more than 40, it's 40 clients with children. I can't say it right, but there are a lot of kids.
40 families.
Yeah, 40 families. Thank you. We just got a family last week. I did an extra outreach to Beecher. We did outreach in their back to school packet, and just to let them know we exist and to let them know all free and reduced kids have access, any families have access to this, but we really didn't glean any new clients from that letter, so we sent another one, and we got a bunch of families sort of last minute. One of the families has 6 kids, and they will all be on the Santa list and the pajama list and hopefully the book list, which is really fantastic for the holiday baskets. She's got a bunch of kids coming in to do sorting of food. The food pantry, I walked in there today and I was overwhelmed. Apparently the Amity culinary instructor did a food collection unbeknownst to us, with these giant boxes of lots of food. We always, when we talk to people who do collections, we talk about who's gonna lift boxes that are overfull and unwieldy boxes that are, like a giant toilet paper box filled with cans. And so we wanna make sure the staff stays safe and the kids who are sorting stay safe. So it was unexpected, but a good problem to have. And Surrey Brick School in Bethany also did an expected drive, and so we got in all of their stuff, and we had asked them specifically for condiments and baking products, and we got a wealth of that stuff. It's really, but it's all over the floor of a newly cleaned room, so we do need to get a bunch more volunteers in to do some sorting. I had a nice email this afternoon from a dad and presumably his wife and kids. They came for the Scouting with Food, and they helped sort in the hallway. They were some of the people who literally were on the ground helping, sort tables and such. And he liked the operation so much, he said, I'd like to bring my family back, 2 kids, my wife and I, once a month for a few hours to just going forward to just take this on and start.
That's great.
It is really a nice offer. I wrote him back to say yes, please. So we have some, I think it's important not for the staff to do this work. We have other things to be doing, and when you involve the community, it becomes the community's. So it's sort of a way of letting people know what we do and participate, the more volunteers. They have, Nancy was out today, but Ashley was organizing the holiday cooking decorating class, which is coming up on December 9th, and they are planning a paint party for January 13th. They have not, okay, so they did, I'm sorry, I read this wrong earlier. They did get a date of January 27th for the 7th and 8th grade to get the vaping presentations, the prevention program, so she did manage to get that scheduled, which is awesome. And I'm just gonna say that DCF did a weird thing. They're entitled to an administrative fee out of the grants that we all receive, all 140 towns that are part of these service bureaus, they receive, but it's never been taken out before. It's never been discussed before, and so when they brought it up this time, There are a lot of towns who have already planned, and in some places contractually planned for spending exactly what their grants will provide. And so a lot of pushback to DCF from the youth service bureaus. And I guess all the youth service bureaus together requested that DCF provide the full complement of the grant. So we'll see, more to come on that.
Does that reflect how much stress DCF is under, financial stress?
Could
That
could
they're trying
be.
to cut corners wherever they can.
Right.
But there was no notice.
No, when you got your grant letter to say how much you got were awarded, there was no mention of the deduction that would happen. And I actually don't know what that is, and I don't think it's very much, but it is enough to have upset
Yeah.
the apple cart, I guess. And she's written here that Ashley, our new youth services coordinator, Ashley Mannion Thompson, is doing a good job. She's working her hours, and I enjoy very much working with her. She's a good kid. We're lucky to have her.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So good with Rosa, good with Ashley, and that's her whole report. I'll submit it there. Are there questions? Because I probably can't answer.
How is she? Is she here, not here for a health reason?
Nancy left for a family emergency.
Gotcha. I hope that's
She
okay.
left the state. So.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the youth services report. Jen, you seconding. And any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
Human services? What's next?
So last month, you'll remember you approved a driver, and I had provided her resume in your packets, and we were very excited. The following day, she rescinded her acceptance, which is such as our luck these days. I did reach out to her again to say, you know, we can conceivably give her more hours, because that's what she had cited as her reason for rescinding the acceptance, and I got ghosted. So we've moved on. Today, Christy and I interviewed a candidate who already has her CDL and P endorsement, which is, you know, the CDL is not necessary, but the P endorsement is. She's a lovely lady. After haggling for a few minutes about salary, she did say that she would be interested in accepting the position. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, because I couldn't copy her resume, because I wrote all over it. She is currently a CNA working at Elam Park, but she has driven for First Student. She's driven for DATCO, the big buses, and for something called Trust Express, which seems to be like a delivery service. And limousines, right. So she's got a wealth of driving experience. She's kind of a lovely person. Her name is Yvonne Saint Hilaire. Yvonne is Yvanne. Saint, separate ST. Hilaire is HILAIRE. She does have her CNA. She's got her schedule is a little bit tricky to work with, so we're not entirely sure how it's going to work out, at the very least as per diem, but at the most she does have some room in her schedule, contingent upon a background check and references. I would love it if you guys would make a motion to approve Yvonne St. Hilaire at $18.50 an hour for, did I say $18.50 to her?
1850 for 90 days.
Right, $18.50 as a driver for the Senior Center Transportation Program.
How many hours a week expected?
A minimum of 4.
Can I just add also, she has a background in working with people with disabilities and driving for them, and also people who are older, so.
Right, so she's got the CNA side of this, and she seems like a good fit for us, other than some scheduling problems.
When you say minimum of 4 hours, 4 hours a week?
Yes. So it's a guarantee of 1 shift, and when you guarantee a shift, it's a minimum of 4 hours.
Gotcha.
So it's 1 shift a week, contingent on, whether or not we can use her as a backup driver. Clearly, we could use her as a shuttle driver. We have 2 drivers right now who each have 2 days, and are not looking for the 3rd day right now. So she would be 1 day a week with a backup for the other 4 days.
I think, I don't want to speak for you, but I think we both agreed that she has so much experience and, what we would need her for, that it's worth, trying to work with her on the time that she doesn't have as available as we would like. So we think it's worth taking that chance.
So you have to find a 4-hour window
Well,
to use her?
So right now, we're talking about a Wednesday, just giving her the Wednesday shift. And when I say 4-hour minimum, it would likely be 6 hours or 7 hours. But with her schedule, she may have to be at her second job at 3 p.m.
Gotcha.
So 4 hours then, and then if there's backup needed on Friday or Monday, she's available.
Oh, okay. That could be helpful.
And what do you project as your need for hours? Would you be needing more so that there'd be another driver coming up at some point?
We did, can I jump in?
Yeah.
We did talk to her about if down the, if we felt that it worked out better for her to go to a per diem status, and that we needed somebody to be more regular, because it wasn't working with her, I think she was open to that idea, so she was flexible to work around her schedule with our needs.
I think this is a good fit for what we need right now. We are getting busy. We always, if we applied for a larger van, she'd be great because she has her CDL, and anything over 15 seats requires a CDL. That said, we might not be done looking for a driver. We might just, utilize Yvonne, as Christy said, as a backup driver, and then still continue, if it doesn't work with her schedule, to look for someone else.
We have several of our clients who we provide local transportation for, to physical therapy in town, or to the JCC shopping. So those are set times, so we can work around her schedule for those, and our other drivers, if they're on the same day or a different day, we can have the medical appointments that may be later in the day that don't have a defined ending for the time.
It feels like it's gonna be an ongoing problem with per diem people, because they have other schedules, other things.
Right.
It's an interesting thing when when we were looking for the coordinator's position for here, or for Nancy, the driver's position, to always see, looks like they have 2 current positions and are in school.
Yeah.
When are they gonna fit this in? But that's what people are doing these days. They have to have 3 jobs to make it work and still raise their kids and still, go to school and try and improve themselves. And there's just so many resumes out there that it was I'm not sure this person has 15 hours for us, you know?
One of our drivers who is driving now, Mike Recchia, who has probably been with us the longest, probably at least 10 years or longer, he started out as per diem. And then he went to.
Right. Right, things changed for him, we became more reliable for him. And he, you know, he was willing to take the job.
Okay,
Okay,
well,
so we still need that
we
motion.
still, I will make a motion to, pending background, check and reference check, to hire, Yvonne St. Hilaire at $18.50 an hour as a 90-day, I think, probationary period, minimum of 4 hours a week. Do I have a second? Pat? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So moved.
Oh, no,
Oh, we lost Tom.
call back. I don't wanna call her back because there may have been, oh. Hi, Erin. Hi. Welcome back. Okay, welcome back. So the Thanksgiving program distribution in partnership with the Rotary Club and Bailey Moore Schaefer Glazer Proto LLP went really well. Bailey Moore donated $1,000 for this program, and the Rotary Club, I think, ended up about $800 more. We provided 30 Woodbridge residents, families, 30 Woodbridge families, 20 Bethany families, and 10 New Haven families with a $25 gift card to Stop and Shop and a pumpkin pie. And so many of our residents came and picked up. Others were delivered by Rotary volunteers. And so that went really well. And we heard from a lot of people. They were very grateful for a nice holiday. We divide our list for that program with anyone who has a kid at Beecher doesn't get this one. It's for the families who don't have kids at Beecher, because the PTO handles kids at Beecher for that holiday. For our holiday basket program, which is really, it's right around the corner, we ended up with, and I say ended up with, and I'm just like, knock on wood, we're done, 49 families, 49 Woodbridge families, and I should get you a total number of people, because that, you know, these are families, they're also seniors who are single people, but it does add up to quite a lot of people. We have about 40 donors. Some of the donors have taken two families, or two have taken on, you know, they, like one woman, she's a Girl Scout leader, and so the Girl Scout troop does one family, and she personally, her family, takes one family, or the student council takes two families, the social action committee at Beecher takes two families.
Mhm.
So we have, you know, a few, we have about 5 families that we're covering, maybe 4, because things changed today, with the RAF, so the Resident Assistance Fund, with donations. I sorted out, I think you all know that we asked for volunteers last month to wrap some baskets, so I think we have 5 actually that are getting wrapped, and we pulled out some really nice food from the Boy Scout Drive for those baskets, and we have gift cards to go with them. And so if there's anybody who wants to wrap baskets, either this Friday or Monday would be, you know, when we'll do it. If not, they're mostly packed already. It's really just about an hour or 2 of work, and I'll have Angela order the bags tomorrow, and we have some holiday ribbon, so we'll be able to wrap them up. If anybody has a couple hours, either Friday or Monday, they can contact me and let me know. I'd be happy to have company when we do it. Some people like to rap. So there's that, and the donations are coming in on the 10th, in the evening, 4:30 to 6, I think, and then all day the 11th, from 8:30 to 4, and then on the 12th, Friday the 12th, the client families will come and they'll pick up their baskets and they'll shop for things. We have so much going out. We identified a lot of really nice food, and the seniors from the craft group knitted again. They made hats and scarves and mitts, and we'll put all that out, sundries out, and people can just have bags. We had bags donated by BH Care, Alliance for Prevention and Wellness, donated some suicide prevention bags, the 988 information bags, so we're going to use those for the people to shop in, and then they'll have that information, sort of doing double duty. And what else is there to talk about?
And deliver baskets.
We're going to deliver baskets with the senior center driver. Judy will probably go out on that Friday with Mike. Okay. So that's very nice. VITA is coming up in February 3rd, I believe, the volunteer income tax assistance. Looks like we have a full complement of volunteers this year. It looks like we'll have 5 volunteers. We're really lucky to have them, and we'll be able to help a lot of people with their taxes, and that'll go approximately 10 weeks, and till I think April 14th is a Tuesday maybe, so we'll go 10 weeks, and we'll be grateful to be back in our place, because last year we had to do it in the library, and that was kind of crazy. The Woodbridge Center Recreation Room, we've had Fuss and O'Neill, who is the company that does the testing for asbestos. Apparently they tested for asbestos, lead paint, and mercury. No surprise in this old building what they found. And so the remediation work, as soon as we get the reports back of what has to be removed, what can be just left there and covered, we'll have that work start soon.
So the 2 rooms were tested?
2 rooms were tested. It was between 40 and 80 tests that she was going to do. She said, well, I have to do 40 and I can do up to 80, so.
Which rooms are we talking about?
So if you go up the elevator, the first room to your left is room 7, and that will be the recreation room. The following room is attached, and also very large, but closer to human services. Room 7 is closer to here. It's really
Just right up.
it's just up the elevator, so it's a really good fit for programming from here. And the room 9, we're hoping to expand the food pantry and medical loan closet into that space, and then use room 15 for storage. But one at a time. So room 7 is 2025-6. We have $25,000 plus $20,000 from capital budget to remediate and then renovate. And that, you know, I did write in the report that you didn't get, that Brad will act as the project manager.
And room 7, the first room to be remediated, when Jeanette says it's for recreation, is for senior recreation, and the pool table and the ping pong table will go up there and probably have enough room if we have funds to put some furniture in there.
Yeah, card tables, so if there's a program going on here in these rooms and they still want to play Mahjong, they could go up to that room and play Mahjong there. But ping pong and pool will have a location. We have a couple couches that we're ready to move in there, and should be good.
Yeah.
You know, I think it'll be a
It's a nice
beautiful
space.
room, It's a nice big space, and it's, you know, very close here. It's as close here as we can get to expand, which is really what we needed, because there's just no room for those things. And the location where we have them now, the ping pong and pool table, is just too far of a walk for it to be monitored from here, and it's too far of a walk for people who just want to get a little core exercise, you know, but they have to walk all the way or take an elevator, stairs. There are
We'll be able to
barriers.
use that space in a more efficient way, I think,
Yeah.
once the tables are moved.
Right. And we've now gotten approval from the Board of Selectmen 3 times to use that space. So we figure that's the last time we ask permission. We're
Forgiveness is next.
you know, 3
It's
times.
also to get from down here to where it is now, you have to go outside, you can't really go up and through the hallway. And, you know, it's hard for people to find, or it's just not.
No, that doesn't.
Despite all of my
Stairs.
signs with arrows, I have lots of signs upstairs and no one follows them. Today the UPS driver got lost. And so the last thing is the budget, and I'll be quick about it. Spoke to you last month about it. We've been asked to create 2 versions of our budget, because one wasn't hard enough. So we have to do a budget that is what we really need, and then a second budget that basically says we can do without. And we have to find something that would offset the 2.5% raise that the entire staff is getting. So, and outside agencies will raise their fees. So we have to offset the staff's 2.5% plus outside agencies and come up with exactly what we asked for last year, which means cutting something, or several somethings. I'm gonna try and get creative over the next week or so to try and figure that out.
What's that amount to?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't taken the full-time staff, you know, and multiplied it by the 2.5% and the part-time staff and done that figure. My guess is it's several thousands of dollars, you know. It's
And
not
I have to
nothing.
say, Jeanette was gonna look at that figure, but she didn't have a computer with it, so.
Go with the other shut
I did
down.
hope to have that for you tonight, but yeah, I didn't have a computer until 4, which is a little frustrating.
Are you thinking that you cut one solid program or just shave a little bit off of everything?
Well, my hope was to take QVHD and throw it out of our budget and give it back.
Sounds good to me.
Right. However, that said, Tony said that was not an acceptable answer, because the town still had to pay for it somewhere. So, you know, we're looking at the potential for a reorganization. Staff is on the table. We're looking at some of our line items for professional development. We're looking at a lot of things, you know. We've been lean for a lot of years. Finding more, and I told this to Kathy tonight, if they zeroed out, and I know I'm on camera, but if they zeroed out our entire budget and we were nothing, they no longer funded human services, it would not solve any of the town's problems. Our small budget, which makes up a sliver of that big pie when you have 2 schools, and I don't mean to pit us against the schools, but they're unchecked at, you know, 5% and 6% on $20 million budgets. You're, you know, $10,000 here, $10,000 there, it is chump change. We're just not gonna help them, no matter what we cut, what services we provide, we're just not going to be able to help this problem. You know, when you have the schools as, what, 68% of our budget? And you've got
We are
the
such a small.
employees benefits, and you've got first responders, and then you've got these tiny 3 little slivers that are library, rec, and human services. It wouldn't matter if they all disappeared. That would I'm sorry,
What would it matter to the budget?
it would matter to the public, because we're the
Right, of
ones who
course.
provide these services, and we're important. But it's a little frustrating, and God knows who's gonna be calling me tomorrow.
Well, however,
I have a suggestion
Okay.
for selectmen.
Oh, who could call me? Jeez. Thanks, I wouldn't try. He's on vacation.
yeah, and, you know, the administration over the last few years has been supportive of increases in
Yeah.
this department that were long overdue. So I can't believe that they would look at reducing the services that they've just replaced.
They want to see how creative I can be.
You know, honestly, I don't think that this town realizes how important human service is, the senior center. I
And
don't
youth
think they know
services.
half of the activities
And our
that go
social
on
work
here.
services, all of them.
Right, youth services, you
Youth
know, the
service.
work they do with, they bring in this grant, they bring in revenue
Yeah.
from their events, they bring in, you know, $19,000+ from Bethany to do some of, you know, Bethany's work. They're not drawing a whole lot of money out of the town
And the
and
senior
doing all
center, for
these
example.
And not
services.
even human service, look at the money from the fundraisers we have, where that goes, how many people in our town that helps. All right, that money isn't just given to us by the town to help these people.
Well, if you look at last year's letter of transmittal, there's a second page that outlines all the donations that
Yeah.
Human Services takes in, and I believe last year it's about $180,000 in grants
Right.
and other ways of.
And fees
Right.
are collected for some of the programming and
No,
the.
that actually doesn't include the fees.
It doesn't.
It's just grants
And
and
we've always asked for
donations
so
and,
little.
like Christy gets all these sponsors that help
Yeah.
us. Yeah, we
We
do so
never
much
really
with so
go-
little.
We never really, with the budget and everything, as long as I've been here, we've always submitted a budget that was very good, I would say.
Fair.
We don't go overboard, ask for stuff we don't need. You know, they've always been pretty fair up to
And
this
we've
point.
worked within our budget every year, unlike
Right.
some departments that go over.
Right,
But Kathy's right. We've been very lucky with the support we've gotten. We've got to have a full-time staff member down here.
yeah.
We've had help with, you know, our capital budget projects. And we've been granted basically everything we've asked for
Right.
the last few years, so.
You know, even though we've had to ask for it several times, but I can't believe that they will take apart what they've built.
And I think
Let
that
me,
would
let
be
me sort of throw a little bit of the
Sorry.
devil's advocate thought out. What else can we do as an organization to bring in some additional funds? Like you were talking about how much, you know, youth services gets for different funds. I'm not telling you to go out and write another grant. Don't, I'm not. But how much more can we get with sponsorships, maybe from other organizations that aren't the, you know, the usual suspects out there?
There's a
I'm just
fine line,
throwing-
though, between getting grants and some sponsorships and privatizing what we do. So we want to
Mhm.
make sure that we're not selling off the services that, you know, are we going to bring in someone else, let's say the JCC, to run something for
Mhm.
us? We want to make sure we're not privatizing government, because when a private business goes out of business, then you're left with no services for
Yeah.
the community. So there's a fine line, just like I talked to Christy about how much we can use fundraising dollars to defray the costs of our projects. We don't want to supplant budgetary obligations with fundraising dollars. We're not going to pay the electric bill with fundraising, right? We want to make sure we're not supplanting what the town's budget needs to pay for. But the extras, like a washer and dryer, are an excellent way, you know, we're saving money, we save money on the,
Environmentally friendly, not using plastic.
right, environmentally friendly, but we save money on the living treasure by not having to send all the linens out to be washed. We did that in-house, you know, and so those kinds of little projects, but and maybe the FF&E, in the upstairs room, the furniture and fixtures, we could pay for out of, fundraising dollars instead of asking for more money to, you know, paint the walls or hang light fixtures.
Just to comment on what you were, you know, kind of brainstorming as an
Yeah.
idea. I feel like for me, like there's only so much you can do. We have a small staff and there's only so many sponsors and,
Yeah.
that you can reach out to. There are a lot that want to, you know, sponsor stuff and bring programs here and stuff. And it's even hard to reach out to all of those that want to. I mean, it's a good problem to have, but there's only so much room to do it here and so much, like I think there has to be some cap, even though, you know, trying to fill the programs that we're offering, so, you know, you're doing less work, but bringing in more people to fill those spots, so that, you know, targeting the program so that it's to what people want. But it's just, I don't know with the staffing that we have, how much more we could bring in sponsors.
Right,
Maybe
because once you're-
displacing something else. Well,
You know, we.
And the work that goes into it,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a lot.
Right, that's what Christie's referencing. When you have a partner who wants to do a program with you, it's not a, hey, will you do this program every year? It's kind of like cobbling things together. Oh, do you have a new program this year? It's a lot of emailing, it's a lot of hand-holding to bring someone in to do that work, and then you have to entertain them when they're here. You know, you have to have the sponsor present, you have to make sure that sponsor's not collecting data, because you're protecting your clients too from, you know, oh, here, sign up to get my newsletter or whatever. Well, and then you're giving out their contact information, they don't even know it. So there's a lot of work in working with the outside, and most of it is 100% great. But she is, I'm gonna say it, I'm sorry, she works too many hours, and she has to stop
Well, it's getting
working.
better with Rosa here.
It's getting
Yeah, but-
better, it's getting better, but we need to, we need to be more reasonable in what our expectations are of our staff and have them try to maintain a reasonable amount of hours.
The other thing is that I find is it's hard to, you know, you don't know if you're going to have the grants or the sponsors back. So you can't really depend on the same ones because you don't know how it's gonna change, how finances are gonna hit them. We lost a couple of our regular ones for the Thanksgiving one, and so we were able to pick up another one, and then we were down one, but it, you know, we were able to make it work by charging them out.
And it's developing relationships over time, because many of these people who have these jobs don't stay. You know, so the director of an agency, not an agency, assisted living, well, we have one that, it's just been like a merry-go-round, how many do you get? Or the, you know, publicity person for another, or the outreach person, they just keep changing. So you're introduced from the old one to the new one, potentially, you have to forge a relationship, you have to explain to them what they've done in the past, and then they have to decide whether their budget dollars are gonna cover that or not. And it is developing over time, it's never the same people.
Companies themselves change, like the Linden Charter.
Right,
You know, how many
those companies.
There are always changes.
Yeah, exactly. So then the staff changes and
Well,
I was just trying to get creative.
No, I-
No, I
Yeah,
love
I
it,
love
and,
it. I love
and
it.
I encourage staff to do more of it all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
You know, how about this one, how about that one? Lainey, which I didn't mention in my report, but Lainey is our opioid prevention coordinator, and she's applying for a very small grant, which is up to $5,000, and it's hopefully gonna cover some of our direct mailing, which we do for Drug Take Back Day, and we may do for, she's scheduled a Narcan training and Narcan and test strip distribution night at the library for February 3rd. She's working with the high school to do a presentation potentially here of In Plain Sight, which is a great training So you've probably had it, I had it and I didn't recognize a single item
Yeah.
as paraphernalia for either vaping or drugs. They're very, I don't know, what's a good word, tricky.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
these
it's a mock bedroom setup and or desk
Yeah.
for anyone's room, and you wouldn't be able to tell that there's drugs hidden underneath this cup. It's part of the cup, or, you know,
Or a
it's
can of
all
soda.
these things that are found online
Right.
that kids have access to.
Kids can order whatever they want and it's just drug paraphernalia, and can be
But
in
they
plain
sell
sight.
cups that are actually,
Storage,
Yep.
you
Or
know,
even like your hairbrush, you know, opening the bottom of your hairbrush and sticking some pills in there, and, you know, just
right, and so you
hiding
have it
things
in
in
your,
plain sight.
it's in your backpack at school and no one knows, it's hidden in plain sight. So that training is a worthwhile one. Anyway, the point was that, we're actively applying for more grants. Even though we have a fund for that, it doesn't mean that we can't utilize that person to apply for more. And maybe leave the fund where it is and just spend off of smaller grants. Trying to get creative.
And that's why we have budget season, to look at all of that and see where we can shape,
But I was going to mention that, you know, with all the support that we've received, I think it's also nice to showcase what we've actually completed out of this building. So now that this building has been, you know, shared with the community, it's been utilized in so many more ways. I think sharing that out, you know, ever since these got adapted into our budget, this is what we now have had. A host of meetings, a host of, you know, events. I'm sure you have a wait list of people that want to use the space.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So
I know the
showcasing.
DEI committee is gonna have the moth kind of
Yes.
program here, and that's what we're getting, is a lot of people are using this space
Mhm.
who hadn't used it before, and it has become a
It's
really
good.
popular location.
but so much more comfortable
Resource.
space than.
A
So it's
resource.
becoming community resource, so showcasing those things.
idea.
Yeah.
We could use it as an example as to what, you know, Coconut Cultural Center will become. You know, as, you know, looking as nice as this and being able to utilize this much.
what is that schedule?
January, I think.
Supposed to finish in December.
And,
Oh, it is December.
and hopefully, you know, that CO and, you know, be able to open it, but I don't think it'll be furnished in January.
Okay, well, we're getting close.
So we're getting, yeah.
In 10 years, it's good.
Something I also do to support my budgets at work, I create a one-page sheet, and it basically is kind of like, this is what these line items or justification for these line items go out to. So like 100 students utilize this fund to do blah, 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 like in just a one-page, very colorful fact sheet, like an infographic. And I attach that with my budget, and it's more like for those that are, you know, visuals,
It makes it real.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's going.
Yeah,
yeah,
And one page, very
and
smart.
one page.
Right.
The font is
But your point about the utilization of the space
Mhm.
could be an important graph
Absolutely.
or, you know, piece of that.
Ever since this space has been vitalized, we've used it for so many things.
Excellent, thank you.
Keep it coming.
We need to have a counter like that at the library for the people that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, your system does that a little, well, not for other, but maybe we can think about that going forward. Great ideas. Anything else, Jeanette?
That's it.
Okay.
You wanna make a motion?
I will make a motion to accept Human Services report. Second for Arnie. Any other discussion? All in favor?
aye.
So moved. Aye, Erin. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And for my brief report, I think last meeting, the POCD update, well, the POCD piece, the document, which was rejected by the Board of Selectmen several months ago, is now in the hands of the TPC, and they'll probably have some discussion on it tonight. When I reported last month to you, I was in error when I stated that they were still taking public comment, and when I passed around a piece highlighting something that we had hoped to include, Christie noticed something that did not come from us, and that we wanted to, have taken out. And I think it was the November 3rd meeting, as I tried to research it a little bit,
November 10th.
it was November 10th, thank you, that public comment was actually closed, and they're in just their review process. And I think I was confused that they're holding another public hearing, but they're not taking comment.
Yeah, I talked to Chris Sullivan, and she said there's nothing we can change from the floor anymore. It's all in their hands. However, once the Board of Selectmen gets it and approves it, then they would be willing to make changes. So
Things could be amended, there's a process.
after it's approved. So it's not, it's a finalized document, but it's not that we can't have input once it's finalized.
You said that the initial submission was rejected,
By the Board of
By the-
Selectmen.
Right,
sent back to whom to do what?
to TPZ.
So not to us, but the TPC.
No,
Right.
and frankly, what we had wanted to change was added. It was at that meeting that Christie noticed one more thing that had not come from us,
Yeah?
and it was about partnering with other towns on senior services, and we never said that. And so we're not sure where they got it from, and I don't think it does any damage to have it still in there.
Don't we already do that with certain things?
Not entirely, no.
Not more kids than,
With kids, yes, but with the senior center,
we have
It-
other
it
people
may-
come.
People can come here, people
Yeah.
can come here from other towns.
oh, sure,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
sure,
But
but we're not
this is-
partnering with Seymour to offer
Right,
a
right.
program.
Yeah,
But if we
okay.
wanna make it true, maybe we could offer a trip sometime, and the two towns would fill a bus together, or Orange. I think once they do something with the Community Services Department, and Rec, and Human Services, and Senior Center, and Youth Services are sort of combined, if that happens, then there would be room to potentially reach out and partner with other towns that have community services to do some kind of planning or partnerships. But I don't see that for just the senior center right now. But it doesn't look like we can change it.
Okay.
I don't think I told you. So,
That's what
That's what
Jeanette helped me to understand. So I'll keep my ears open to see what happens and keep you updated.
So the next step is to make it through planning and zoning, and then goes back to the selectmen? Or does it have to go
I don't think it
someplace
goes
else?
back to the selectmen. I think it really is now in.
they don't approve the final document, TPZ does.
TPZ does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it went to Board of Selectmen, in which they could have accepted pieces of it, accepted the whole thing, but they rejected the whole thing. And I think
We're gonna hope that the process moves, that the POCD is accepted, and that we can apply for a steep grant in the next year and have it approved, because we're in compliance with our POCD.
Gotcha.
Right now,
it really will hold up the ability to seek grants. So in this, position in a couple of months.
we'll
You can't
hope
only
that they
apply
have.
to us, it's gotta be other people.
I don't know how many other towns
I
have
mean,
no.
just with other
Yes,
departments
POCD.
within the town.
So the
Yes.
steep
Oh,
grant
yes.
only comes out once a year, and there are people who vie to be the one that gets, we don't have competing applications.
The town
the town designates who's gonna apply. And hopefully with ours already written, and it was only rejected because we were not compliant with our P O C D, we think, they would let us apply again.
Okay.
Well,
All shots.
And on a different note, I just wanted to make a comment. I've been watching Judy's numbers. I think I made a comment last time that she had jumped from maybe 7 or 8 advocacy reports or advocacy issues she was working with to 15 last month, and this month she's at 26. With 22 follow, I think. But anyway, the numbers, are increasing with community members who are needing advocacy, so keep us aware of that.
Is that, how do you, seniors, kids, how does it break down in terms of the people that she's
I
talking
can
to?
ask Judy for next time
Okay.
to break it down, so I
That'd be great.
can help us understand that.
Yeah,
I will ask
so
her.
she gives us numbers, but the flesh would be helpful.
I'll ask for a breakdown.
I think it's a pretty wide swath, because she works with a lot of seniors, but this past month, more so than ever, she's been working with families. So, new families to town, and.
But that's a good trend for us to watch.
Yeah.
So I think that's an important thing too.
And it's a good thing to put in your one pager, there's the
Yeah.
graph going up.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yep. Okay, any old business? New business? Our next meeting, January 5th. I'll make a motion for adjournment at 8:15 PM. Can I have a second?
Second.
Do I have a Jen? And it is approved by acclamation.